Hi guys, Sandy Ingram here. Welcome. Let's talk about it. Almost every time there's a major video, someone always comments in the comment section about being told that they do not have to pay taxes on IQD investment profits. So we're going to talk about it. First thing you should know is that tax evasion is illegal. Tax avoidance is smart and is good and is accepted by the Department of Treasury, IRS. Now, some of you are on the fence. And if I, as a registered tax professional with the Department of Treasury, do not warn you, then I could be held liable for your downfall. And it's obvious that not many of you, not all of you, but some of you are headed for a major downfall with this currency profit and taxation. Let me see if I can break it down to a point that's one, interesting, two, totally factual, and three, that will help you understand. Okay, now we know that I travel the world as a retiree. I travel the world slowly. I'm retired. I collect money, currency, in different countries, and I hold on to some of it. I don't hold on to a lot of it because I'm traveling and I just don't want to become a target. But here's the deal. Every time that I end up at an international airport and I go to exchange the currency that I have, say for instance, I had well over 1,000 Argentino pesos before I left Argentina, but I didn't turn everything in. I didn't trade it into dollars before I left the country for a few different reasons. One of them is I like to hold on to the currency so that I have a small amount of currency from different countries on me, on my personal at all times. But the thing is, when I go to exchange my currency for whatever country I'm in, the first thing they ask me for is my U.S. passport. Now that's the kicker, that's the telling. As long as I'm changing $100, $200, $300, or even $500, no problem. I don't feel that they're going to flag me or tag me or necessarily send a note to the Department of Treasury or IRS. However, if I walk up to the counter, let's say that Iraqi Dinar revalues to 10 cents. And I know I don't want to turn in my whole million because I'm hoping in the back of my mind that Iraq will go up to 20 cents and 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, and on and on and on. So what I will do is I will take 100,000 of my Iraqi dinar and I will go to the exchange counter and I will say, can I exchange this for US dollars? Yes. May I have your US passport? Now, the thing is, if the currency is at 10 cents and I have 100,000 Iraqi dinars, that's 10,000 US dollars that I will receive minus the fees, the high fees that they're going to charge me. Now, if I take the $10,000 or minus the fees, and I walk around the international airport and I decide to buy something that cost $1,000, then all I have is 9,000 US dollars when I get on the aircraft, when I'm flying back into the United States. I don't have to declare $9,990 or whatever amount I have as long as it's under $10,000. So far, so good. Except for the $10,000 may show up on a list in about a year, 2 years, 2.5 years, on a Department of Treasury list of U.S. citizens that have traded in over, say, $5,000 or have traded and received $10,000 in U.S. dollars. And then from my passport number, which can be cross-referenced with my social security number, the IRS then knows that I participated in a transaction that was $10,000. Then the IRS computer will pull up my tax returns from the last, 3, 4, 5 years, and they won't see the transaction on my taxes. Okay, no big deal. What they will do is send me a CP 2000, which is a paper audit. And it's nicely written. They're being really nice and accommodating, until they're not. And if I say, oh, yeah, there was this transaction in Turkey or Egypt, and I received 10,000 US dollars, and I guess I need to tell you about that, and then they'll look at me a little with one eye and say, yeah, I think you better tell us about that. And then I will redo my taxes, and of course the penalties and interest will be so high that I really will wish that I had reported it during the year that it happened, because the penalties and interest will be over half probably of the $10,000 in profit that I received. That's one way. Another way is you receive the CP 2000, and because somebody on YouTube told you that you did not need to pay taxes on your IQD profits, you believe that there's no problem. So you send back the CP 2000 saying, no, there's no additional monies, transactions, money, no problem. IRS takes their time, and they're nice to you and accommodating until they're not. And you could be facing tax evasion charges because you believe somebody on YouTube that told you you didn't have to pay taxes on your IQD profits. People go to jail for not reporting income. And it doesn't matter what country you're in or where your income came from. If you are a U.S. tax-paying citizen, you must report all income on your tax return. And when you don't, after you sign and date that return, or you e-file the return and you're saying this is all of my income, you are held accountable and responsible. And yes, you could end up in prison over your IQD profits and believing that you do not need to pay capital gains taxes or taxes on your currency profits. Now, if IRS or Congress votes in a new law that will eliminate taxes for IQD investors, because after all, the secretary, let me get this straight. After all, Condoleezza Rice sent a letter to every military person on the planet and telling them to support Iraq. Now, this is not something that I heard. I saw the letter in a tax client's file, and I asked him, could I use the information, one, to purchase Iraqi dinar, because I didn't really know that it was a big thing until I saw the letter from Condoleezza Rice. So he said, yes, no problem. And I said, I want to be able to talk about this without giving your name or any personal information. He said, no problem. Guys, if Congress comes along and says, okay, there's no taxes on IQD investments because you were asked by the federal government and told that and encouraged to help build Iraq. So if that happens, then no, you won't owe any taxes on your IQD profits. But thus far, Congress has not said anything about making that kind of adjustment, and the IRS they don't deal in who said, he said, she said. You will legally be responsible for all and any capital gains taxes. Now, if you join the channel's membership, there are a couple of videos where I explain how to legally avoid taxes on your IQD profits. But there are certain steps and procedures, and you will need to join the channel's membership to learn about these steps and procedures. The bottom line is you will owe capital gains taxes. Now, I have told the channel's membership that I want to travel not to Iraq, but in the vicinity of the Middle East to see for myself if I can trade my Iraqi dinars for US dollars. So far, things are looking good. I do have a flight confirmed from the Caribbean to Europe. And when I get to Europe, what I will do more than likely is go to Egypt first. Now, Egypt doesn't deal in the IQD, but from Egypt, I can look over the Mediterranean Sea and see if I feel comfortable enough to travel to Turkey, Istanbul. With Putin, the Ukraine happenings, I'm a little concerned about getting that close to Russia and the Ukraine. If I feel comfortable, I will fly to Turkey. If I don't, I will stay Cairo, Egypt, and I'll fly back to Europe and fly back to North America. So we'll see, guys. We'll see how close I can get to actually seeing and showing you in a video money exchanges at the international Istanbul or one of the other cities in Turkey, the exchange of the Iraqi dinar to the US dollar. Now, you may say, oh, she really loves her channel and she's really working on this. Yes, that's true. I really love the channel. But the other side of that is when I am doing things for you, when I'm traveling for you, that means that my travel is tax deductible. Okay? So I'm not promising you anything. I'm saying that's what we're planning in the membership, the channel's membership. I'm working on it. I do not plan to feel unsafe by going to Turkey when Putin is unhappy. Now, that's just the bottom line.